This week on the 77% Street Debate.
The Benin bronzes are modern art. They are representing the people and the times that they lived in.
For me as a young African, I think it's very important that this debate continues not only here in Europe, but also takes place in the African continent.
Even after repatriation, we have to continue to speak about colonial history and the colonial wound.
If these works are taken back, many of us will be able to retrace where we come from.
Hello everyone. These here are some of Africa's most prized artifacts. They're called the Benin bronzes. They're from the ancient kingdom of Benin, which is today known as Edo State in southern Nigeria. They were stolen by British soldiers in the colonial era and sold to buyers in the West. Since then, they've been on display in museums in North America and in Europe. Now, today's street debate is coming to you from the Rautenstrauch Jost Museum in the German city of Cologne. That is because this museum is home to 94 Benin bronzes, but also Germany is set to become the first country to begin returning the Benin bronzes to Nigeria. And so, Uno, I want to pick up with you because you're from Benin City in Edo State. You know a thing or two about how to make a Benin bronze. Tell us what makes them so special.
They're beyond art, their culture, the history of my people. So it's not just looking at it as a piece of art. It means it's like taking the Sistine Chapel away from Italy. That's what it feels like. So it's not just art.
It's not just art.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to you now, Nanetta, because you have been the museum director at this museum since 2019. The conversation about returning the bronzes has been taking place for a very long time. Why do you think it's taken Germany this long to finally say that it's going to return the bronzes to Nigeria?
Well, it is for all European museums, so I think it's not a German problem. Why I would return the question: why is Germany ready to give back one of the most important African heritage in European museums? I think because there is no emotional link with Nigeria. For example, the relation between Germany and Namibia, because of the genocide, first genocide in the 20th century, is much more difficult. That's why, for example, at this moment, Germany is ready to restitute the Benin bronzes, and, for example, the British Museum in London is absolutely refusing the discussion about it.
Okay, so Paloma, I'm going to come to you now because Nanette is introducing this idea of connection. That's why it may be harder or easier. But why do you think it's taken Germany this long to return these bronzes?
I think it's taken so much time because Germany, or even other European countries, have a huge problem also in acknowledging the colonial history and the colonial past and the coloniality of the museum as an institution itself, and also acknowledging that museums are institutions that actually produce racism or reproduce racism in a way. I think this is something that has just maybe started, or that people are even more demanding, and demanding for institutions to consider that and to think critically about their own histories.
Right. You know, that museums reproduce racism. Interesting one, Tim. I want to pose that question to you and say, how do you feel as somebody who's got affiliations to the African continent, when you walk into museums and you see items that belong to Africa, for example, that people on the continent want back, how does it make you feel?
The thing is, it's an expression of power. It's the same expression of power that it used to be 50, 60, 80, 100, or a couple of hundred years ago. So this is why I think that it needs to be brought back, not only because people need it over there, but because here it actually does harm in giving the wrong image of African cultures, or giving people still the possibility to dwell and to believe in these colonial ideas of possession and these of occupation, of dominance. Yeah.
Uyi, the Benin bronzes being taken away from what used to be the Benin Kingdom, how has that affected the people of Benin?
I'm an artist, so I know about art. But the art we ain't just taking, other things, cultural things we're taking too, our language, was taken, our languages were taken, we were stripped of our clothing, of our way of life, right? So it's beyond the art thing, you know, it's power, like he said before. It's about power and influence.
Rahab, I think we can all agree the moral and ethical argument being what was stolen should be returned. Beyond somebody being an artist like Uno is, do Africans have a connection to these items?
I think that's exactly what he tried to explain, because we have that disconnection of these artifacts, because these were things that were taken away from us. So we kind of find difficulty in identifying with the stuff because we think it's something that happened then or back in the centuries. But if you look at now, these are very important oral histories. These are things that tell about our histories. They tell about our cultures. They continue telling our narratives and our stories as African people and as young Africans.
Paloma, I happen to know that the plan, at least for the Benin bronzes, would be to go and be housed in a museum in Edo State. Is that the solution?
The museums, they symbolize power itself, and I think it's very important to have the discussion of what is going to happen with the Benin bronzes, to have this discussion with the public, with the people who are connected to these objects, or certain groups who may have different ideas of what one could possibly do with these objects.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to you and say, what function should the Benin bronzes have when they are returned to Nigeria?
I saw one of the works there and I could recognize that was taken from a shrine. So we're always talking about museums and museums. Some works were broken off the doors of people's houses, but they end up in museums here. So the debate won't be really about where it's going to be kept. It's what it will do for the people. And there are so many things, like I don't know how many Europeans who understand the meaning of net. Like you see some of the work with, it feels like baskets, you know, they are crosses. They mean something to us. They represent something. You see a leopard there. What is leopard to you? It means something to us. It's more than just an animal. You see the bed too. There are just so many works that I don't know if Europeans truly have a connection, like a cultural connection to it. And that's what we do. We have that cultural connection, and it won't necessarily be in museum or wherever. I think that's not something that Europeans should care too much about, like where does it end up? Why are we talking about how we will keep our own property? It's ours. Just give it back.
I'm going to come to you and get some reaction from you, Nanessa, just listening to that contribution there.
It's not new for me. Perhaps I'm not a typical museum director in this case, because I'm fighting for restitution since 25 years. But it is. I was thinking when I was listening to those words, I'm very moved because he is right. But at the same time, I think it is incredible that this is for me the very first time that we have such a conversation here in the museum. And this is incredible, really incredible.
Jerry, I do want to come to you because you're a historian. The point's just been made. Who has been owning the narrative? Who has been telling the story? Do you think that we will be able, as a continent, to preserve these artifacts when they are returned to us? We can accuse the Europeans of whatever we like, but they have kept these items. Will we do the same in Africa? Will we still have Benin bronzes in 2-3 centuries if those Benin bronzes and other artifacts are returned to the continent?
Absolutely. I mean, they came from Mars. So if we were able to preserve them for so many generations and pass them on from one generation to the next until they were looted, why won't we not be able, when we get them back, to be able to do the same process? Not only the Benin bronze, but most of the artifacts that are still in the museum, this is just a part of it. But there's so much, even here where we are standing on this cellar, there's so much that is coming from the whole of the African continent, and it's just kept somewhere, in papers or, wrapped somewhere, and then this history goes away, We kind of have a colonial amnesia within the African continent of the things that they took and what actually that means for us as young African people, that we have our histories lying somewhere invisible in dark cellars.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is Germany going to return every single Benin bronze in its possession?
Actually, it is really this. It is the decision up to Nigeria to say, okay, we want to have everything back. I would say we can interpret this paper, this document, on very different levels. My interpretation is Nigeria can decide, and they could say, okay, we would like to speak about our kingdom, the history of this Benin kingdom. Now we have this paper, and actually everything could return to Nigeria.
Uno, you know, when you talk about what these bronzes mean to you and to your people, the conviction there really comes across. But there are awkward facts here, Uno. We're talking about your country, Nigeria, which is known for corruption, known for people who abuse their powers. Who's to say that these bronzes go back to Nigeria and they're not going to be looted, siphoned off, sold off to people? I mean, don't we have problems at home? And I have heard some Nigerians suggesting that, well, the bronzes might actually be better off where they are because they're not going to be safe in Nigeria.
Can I ask one question from that? The board of directors of this museum and every other museum that has the art of Benin, who are they? Are they not elites? Are they the people on the street? Poor people don't build museums. So why is it that the elites here are saying, oh no, we don't want it to end up with the elites there? That's how I see that particular point. It's really not about where it's going to end or who's going to have it. Oh, they're corrupt. There are museums in Nigeria. There are museums in Benin City. My university had 2 museums, right? We had places where it feels like Nigerian or Africans are always described as barbaric, poor, they have nothing. But that's not true. I only came abroad like 6 or 7 years ago. Everything that I know, everything that I am, I became in Nigeria, right? So the argument of, oh, it will end up with the corrupt people or the elites, it doesn't hold weight because it ended up with the elites in Europe too. So why is the pot calling the kettle black?
Okay, so Jerry, but I want to follow up with you on that because the communities that live in those areas where the resources come from do not benefit from those resources because that is how our authorities are running the show. When it comes to these historical artifacts, isn't the same thing going to happen?
No, I don't think so, because I mean, Africa is waking up. It has always been waking up, and we have a young generation of Africans who are no longer going to, take this thing as very easy, maybe as generations before. We have to be there to be talking about these topics. We have to be involved, and we have to be able to create jobs, because this whole debate creates jobs for white people and not for us, just like with the resources. The resources don't benefit us, but it benefits other people. So even there, we have to have this conversation within Europe and also within the African continent, and especially with the young people, if you're thinking about the Africa we want 2063.
Okay. You want to talk about the economic impact that this could potentially have, how this could create opportunities for people?
Yeah. I mean, if we look back at the museums in colonial times, there would be a competition between basic Berlin, London, between Paris, right, and the major museums there to get as many objects from the African continent as possible, because there was this competition in who is the most imperial city. And being this kind of imperial city gives you a job, gives you opportunities, because people, like in a capitalist system, there is investment coming in, so there's a continuity from this to today, where it is still the case that museums still want to keep these kind of all these things and these objects, and the potential in there for African cities and African communities, African countries, is that they will then be able to also kind of step into this game, into this idea of global cities and a globality, where at this point it would be possible for them to assert themselves and say, okay, to their citizens, come here and look at this.
Okay, and Uno, I'm going to give you the last word now, because it's just Germany so far that's made the commitment to return the bronzes.
That's true.
A number of countries, the Brits, which have the biggest collection, the British Museum, they've not said anything about returning those bronzes. What is your message to countries that still hold on to these artifacts?
My message to them is this. I don't speak my mother tongue because English is the only language they teach in my country, from kindergarten to the university. I don't know the religion of my people. I don't as much as I dress like this, but this is not exactly how my people dress. If you don't return this work, you're not taking art away from us. You're taking everything that makes us us. That's what you're taking, or that's what has been taken before, right? Returning the art, it's just one way of saying, we did wrong. Have this, start to learn about your people. And that, I think, is something that everybody can relate to. Europe has had its own worst times too, several horrible wars. Arts were also stolen from countries and then looted, but these works had been returned. Many had been returned. There was no lengthy conversation and discussion. Europeans agreed that if it represents the culture, or it keeps the culture of the people, then you should give it back to them. Please do the same for Africa so we can believe in ourselves again.
And that does it for today's street debate here in the German city of Cologne. But the conversation really doesn't end here. Of course, we're interested to know what you think about what we've discussed here today. Is Africa's stolen art, is it going to be safe when it is returned to the continent? And perhaps what is your message to countries who have not quite taken the decision that Germany's taken to return to Africa what's rightfully belongs to the continent? So for myself, Christine Munro, the team, it's been great having you with us. Looking forward to your engagement in the comment section. Bye for now.